What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 quarterbacks for the 2026 NFL Draft. With that, let's go ahead and get right into it. At number 5, Drew Aller from Penn State, 6'5", 228 pounds. Really great arm. Uh, Pretty inconsistent accuracy, though. Touch, ball placement is all kind of lacking. Um, I don't think he's efficient enough in the big moments of games. Kind of a slow processor. I don't think he handles things pre-snap super well. Um, but he has shown the ability to throw with anticipation versus zone. Confidence can is something that's probably going to need a bit of a boost. Has shown the ability to make every throw on the field because he does have a big arm. Probably the best arm in the class, if I had to say. He can also move a little bit. I have a definite day 3 grade on him. Um, but I honestly don't think this quarterback class is super crazy, so he ends up at 5. Moving up to number 4, we've got Taylon Green from Arkansas. He's 6'6", 227 pounds. He ran a 4.36 which is absolutely moving at that size and at this position. Um, he does make risky throws a little bit too often. He will put the ball in harm's way. Um, Obviously, at that size and speed, he's an absolute threat with his legs. Um, Despite that, though, he's not that great at off-platform throws. I also would like to see him process things a little bit faster. His timing really needs to improve. Pre and post snap reads are things that need to kind of be worked on too. His throwing motion, I would like to see that speed up a little bit. He also sometimes has a tendency to scramble backwards, which kind of makes plays worse sometimes. Accuracy is a little inconsistent. I do like that when he's scrambling, he is keeping his eyes downfield. I do like that. Very much a rhythm passer. You're going to want to get him going early. Has some pretty solid arm strength, too. He's very raw, but he has some really, really good physical traits. And that's kind of what sets him apart over Drew Aller because I think they both have good arms. Drew's is a little bit better, but not so much better that it outweighs Taylor Green's athleticism because neither of them are very accurate. Neither of them are great decision makers. So if you've got one big arm quarterback with good size versus another big quarterback with a big arm, then the athleticism kind of wins out for me. So that's why Taylor Green is at 4 for me. Um, Moving on to number 3, we've got Carson Beck from Miami, 6'4" and 3/4, 233 pounds. Um, his accuracy and ball placement, I still think could stand to improve, especially on off-platform throws. Fairly athletic, especially for his size, and throws the ball pretty well on the move. Can absolutely throw with touch. He's shown the ability to do that. Also has really good arm strength. He does throw to a man rather than a spot. Not a whole lot of anticipation. I would like to see him be able to throw some people open a little bit more. Um, I have noticed that when he does miss, it's usually an overthrow rather than an underthrow. Um, but that kind of changes on crossing routes because he sometimes throws the ball behind his receiver on crossing routes, which can sometimes work. It can sometimes help the receiver avoid a big hit, but it also makes it a much more difficult catch to actually bring in. So, but I do think he has some pretty good tools, and I do think it is a step up from Taylor Green and Drew Aller. But I do still have a day 3 grade on him. Taylor Green, I do have a 4th rounder. Carson, I do as well, but probably an earlier 4th round grade. Drew, I have like a 5th round on him. Moving on to number 2, Ty Simpson from Alabama, 6'1", 211 pounds. Good throwing mechanic, above average decision making and processing. Arm strength is pretty average though. He tears up zone coverage very well, sees the game well, has shown the ability to move a little bit and hurt you with his legs. Only a 1-year starter, which isn't great. I would like a little bit more experience, but it is what it is there. Ball placement sometimes can be a little bit inconsistent. He also tends to hold the ball too long sometimes. Um, I do like that at Alabama he was allowed to make calls at the line of scrimmage. I do love that. But he's very good at risk management, decisive against zone. Um, his numbers were kind of hurt by his receivers dropping a lot of footballs for him, unfortunately. But I like this guy as like a potential solid backup, maybe even like a journeyman starter eventually. Like I said, the arm strength I think is going to limit him from being like a real star, but I think he does have a place in the league. So moving on to number 1, should be obvious at this point. Fernando Mendoza from Indiana, 6'4", 3/4, 236 pounds. Very accurate passer, clutch in the big moments. Good throwing mechanics. He's good with both pre and post snap reads. More of a pocket passer, but he can move a little bit. Can absolutely throw the football with touch. He doesn't really escape pressure super well. Like I said, he is more of a pocket passer, so he is going to need probably a pretty decent offensive line. Competitive guy, though. He does like RPOs, so if you're the Raiders, who are probably going to draft him first overall, probably implement that a little bit. I would say his pocket mobility is kind of below average. I do want to see him improve that. Arm talent with off-platform throws, I would say, is average to maybe slightly above average. Good timing, definitely willing to take a hit. I would say his arm strength is good, but not like elite. I think it's definitely enough at the next level. And I do think he is definitely worthy of a first-round grade. Would he be first overall in every quarterback class? Definitely not. But I do think it is probably the guy the Raiders should probably take because you're going to need somebody. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, I appreciate hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.